Okay, so this video will be a little bit in reverse. This is the wiper stalk of a W203 Mercedes C-Class, and I've got a problem with intermittent wipers not working, or rather the wipers intermittently not working. And so the video is a bit backwards, and I'll show you what I'm going to do and how I'm going to put it together again. So this little wire here broke off. Which gives the resistance value through to the steering angle sensor for the wiper control. So what I've done, I've basically disassembled the whole stalk now to a point where I could get to the wires. So I will pull out the blue wire and then I'll splice in a little piece there, solder it back on together. I'll first do this side, then I'll stick it through. I'll do that side later. You'll see why. And then I'll just start to assembling this again. I've completely disassembled this. You'll see all the parts here, and without anything jumping completely out of place, and without breaking any clips. So I should in theory be able to assemble this exactly like I disassembled it. So all I'm going to do now, and I'm not going to show this on the video, but I'm going to pull out the blue wire. Then I'll probably cut it around there to splice in a part of the wire where there's no movement, but where there's minimal movement. And then I'll pull that wire through, and then I'll splice it in again somewhere there, again at a place where there's minimal bending and movement on the wire. So I'll get that done first, and when I have the new wire in, then I'll continue with the video and I'll show step by step how to assemble this, and then I'll also just briefly mention how I disassembled this. So you'll have to watch the whole video through, and then you can start to try and disassemble this. So yep. Okay, so I've soldered the little wire in here to join up with these other two. It is a little bit thicker, but it's the only thing I have now, so it'll work. It'll do the job. So before I'm soldering this side, I'm going to be assembling the side of the stalk, and I want to basically have this side completely reassembled with all these other parts, so that I can know exactly how long to splice this in. And so if we have a look on this side, and this is now important again for when you disassemble, right there, if you, it's a little bit unclear maybe, but right there inside, around about there's a little bulge on that internal part that will clip in there. So basically we need to push this over, just bring this up, then we push this over right there, and then we slide that down. This is quite a tough one to get down there. Okay, so now I need to make 100% sure that we are actually putting it in the right spot, and it seems like it. So you'll see there's a little, it's a bit difficult with the camera, but you'll see there's a little groove almost there, in there, and so that'll slide over that point. Anyway, so we'll just put this on, pull this out a little bit, then we'll put it on like that, and then we'll just push it in all the way, and you'll see right down there that is locked in place now. Okay, so then next we need to put together, let me just move the camera a little bit. We need to put together this side. There's a little slider like that that goes in there. So this slider, this is actually for the windshield washer. So that slides in there like that, and then you'll see there's two little cornered edges right there. So that cornered edges goes toward this side. Okay, so that's in. And now we need to get this other side that I can't find right now. Oh, here it is. So this one is a little bit more tricky, but first let's just get this one in. So we'll slide this back, and now somewhere you'll need to feel where this goes on. I think it's more or less there, but now we need to have this the right side around. So let me just have a look. So I think it goes on like that. And now, but before you slide this completely all the way in, you need to make sure that that is turned to 0 like that. Because if you slide it out all the way, then that part locks. If you turn it like that and you slide it in, then it also locks, but in the wrong position. Anyway, so that's about right now. And before we do that, we needed to actually fit this part. So this part just slides on there. Like that. Okay, so now that's ready. Okay, so after a bit of fidgeting with this, I think I've got the way that I'm going to assemble this. So I've set this little piece on here already onto that little pin. Then I'm going to, so this I can feel right more or less about there. And then I see that there's a little pin there that's supposed to sit opposite to that little black pin. So I'm going to try and put it on like that. So first I'll bring this one back a little bit, and then I'll just try and push that on and slide it in all the way. Okay, so that feels more or less about right. I hope it is. And then we'll just pop that back. And okay, so now there's something wrong because I don't get the third one. Okay, so something is not quite right. And then this seems to, the push-in function seems to work. Something is not quite right there, so I'll quickly take it out again. But so when you take it out, you basically pop this part just off. And so I'll do that, and then I'll reassemble it. But that's basically how you get this part together and how you put it in. So I'll need to figure out what's the story, why I can't switch over to the third notch there. So let me get that fixed. Okay, so just a quick one on what the problem was. There's that little bulge there, and that needs to slide into a slot right in line with that hole. And I had this misaligned, so that couldn't go in all the way. So I'm going to slide that in, and then you can see it will turn all the way to number 3. So I'll now keep it like that, and then I'll, like I just showed, I will put this little plastic part on here like that, and then we'll try again. Then put this little part there. Not like that. Let's try again. Just get that here. slide this back a little bit to around there. I need to make sure that that's hooked on, and then we'll just go for it. Okay, so that's back. And now I have 1, 2, and 3. So that's working, and then that's the momentary wiper function and the washer function if you push it further. So that seems to all be working. And now next we'll tackle this side and we'll reassemble that, and then we'll get the wires spliced in. Okay, so this part is a little bit easier. It's basically assembling this. So the way I took this apart was to stuck in 2 screwdrivers on each end to bend that a little bit outwards so that it can release it around that pin. So if you put that back together again, you can't really make a big mistake. This little wire will just stay there to the side, and you can see that little pin will go into that slot. So I'll just put it in, and then you'll just have to press like hell to get this in. And I'm rather not going to do this on camera because it's in my way, but you get the idea. Basically you need to put this in right there, and then you just need to get that over that notches. So I'm just going to stop the camera to get this in properly, and then we'll continue. Right, so the best way I found was actually to put this into my one hand like that, and then just really press it hard to get it locked into place. So then your lever should look like this, and all 3 wires will come out there. So right, now we're ready to continue. Okay, so the next step is relatively easy. You will sit with this top part. You have a little small pin there that needs to go into that little V, and then obviously these 2 will push into the sides, so it will go on like that. We'll need to push it a little bit to get these in, and then we can just slide it in like that. Okay, so that's basically how it sits. So that's how it should look. Alright, and then I think we're going to take the chance and get this all together. We'll leave the wire for right at the end, because it doesn't matter if we make this a little bit longer. So now if we have a look here, that little pin there needs to go in that little square at the bottom. Now before we can do that, we need to hook that pin into that hole, and then that pin there on that side will go into that little slot there, if you can see. Okay, so basically you need to carefully lower this like that down into this housing, while you see that all those are aligned. And I'm not going to try and do that on the camera because you can't see anything in any way. And after I've done that, so I'll slide that into place, and then after I've done that, I'll go ahead and fit this over the top. Then you'll see that little lip there, and that clips in on that side and on that side, and then we'll put the 2 little screws in from the bottom, and then I'll show you again how it looks. Alright, so I have this slid into place, and you can easily see there at the bottom that that one's correct. Then if you look in there, you can look to the bottom there inside and see that that this side that needs to lock in on the slider sitting there, you can see that that's in place. So this is relatively easy. You can now see the blue wire where it sits in place and exactly where it's snapped off. So that's still loose, and we'll connect that up in a moment. And then we'll go ahead and we'll slide this over the top. Now for this, when you do this, you need to get the wires out of the way. The wires loops over the side, so we'll just flex them like that when we do this, and this just slides over. If I've done that and I put in the little screws at the bottom, then I'm sitting with no parts left, so that's always a good sign. And so I'll just grab this better. Oh, let's see if we can do it. And then that little plastic part there, you need to flex because it goes around that place where my finger is. So we'll have to get that over somehow. So let me just try and do it like this. So this will work. And I just need to get the wires out of the way. It is a bit skew, but we should get it back in. Okay, so I need to actually get that wire past the other ones. So there we go. That looks a bit better. And then I'm really hoping everything is aligned. So I'm just going to go for it, see if we can get it back. Something is definitely sticking on the one side. So let me just take it out again. Okay, so this old part actually flipped up. So, okay, but you've got an idea. So I think I'm just going to turn off the camera first and then I'll get that assembled. Okay, so just a quick one, which was a mistake in the other videos. That little pin that I showed there is not supposed to sit on that side of the V. It's supposed to be sitting inside there. So I've just disassembled it again quick, and you can now see the wire is now all in place with the heat shrink on. And so I'll just relocate that pin to the inside and then I'll assemble the whole thing. So but this is just a short little piece, so which is not correct in the rest of the video, but that's how it's supposed to be. Okay, and so just as a last afterthought, there's a little spring holding this cream piece of plastic kicked out that way. It's a little spring that runs there, which seems to be a bugger if you get that in its place. So what I ended up doing is to first fit this white plastic part in the top cover to get that spring held in place, and then I lined that part and the slider sitting this side. I lined that up and then fitted this black piece last and tightened the two screws. So yeah, if you liked the video, if it helped you in some way, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.